Welcome back, everyone. We know when it comes to keeping communities safe, there's no more aspect that's important than our police. Now, it takes community involvement to get behind the police from a city hall perspective and from a community involvement perspective. President Trump had somewhat of a roundtable today at the White House. He talked about how we retain cops and get more cops into the system. Listen.
I ordered other federal agencies to boost funding for police recruitment, retention, and pay. And I've asked Attorney General Bondi to pursue the death penalty for anyone convicted of killing a police officer, which is very appropriate.
All right, so all great stuff. You know, you kill a police officer, you ought to face the death penalty. Many states, that's already the situation. Now, President Trump is also overturning these restrictive so-called consent decrees. These were big during the Obama administration, big during the Biden administration, where the Biden DOJ would make deals with the police departments that we're going to give big-time oversight to you. We're going to make you hire diversity, equity, and inclusion hires. We're going to make you hire more minorities, make you hire more females, and make you conform to this politically correct version of the police that they want that's not a crime-fighting version of police. Well, this is micromanaging. And it turns out the communities are less safe because of this. Trump is ending this. Here's Pam Bondi, the Attorney General.
We're also ending consent decrees that take control away from you, destroy morale, and increase violence. Instead, we're working with local law enforcement to give you the tools that you need to make our streets safer.
All right, so don't micromanage police departments from a federal level, from any level, really. So here's the thing. You want the proof? The Crime Prevention Research Center did a study. We've got a lot of statistics to go through. I'm going to give you one, though. This is before consent decrees were instituted. There was 5.3% less crime. After the consent decree is instituted, crime goes up by nearly 5%. Okay? Why is that? I'll tell you why it is. Because they're not policing and they're hiring inferior police officers and getting in the way of the officers' ability to do their job. I want to bring in now to talk about this, the man behind that study, the president of the Crime Prevention Research Center, Dr. John Lott, is with us. John, it's great to have you back on.
Oh, it's great to talk to you again, Grant.
All right, I take it you expected these results, but what was your response when they started to come in?
Well, I mean, some of the impacts are pretty large. You have two different types of affirmative action rules that they have there. The issue isn't hiring minorities or hiring women. It's the fact that they're changing the standards for people to get hired. So, for example, there are two basic changes that they make. Either they get rid of things like intelligence tests, and these are not complicated things. It's basic math. It's the ability to go and write and read. And the reason why you want to go and test whether somebody can read and write is that they have to fill out police reports that are there. And what you find when many of these rules get changed, so they no longer test for people's ability to do things like write, you're going to get trials where they're not able to go and use the police report, that they can't bring the officers on to go and testify to what they see because the police reports are basically incomprehensible. And the defense attorney is going to, tear their reports apart there. And so what you have happen then is that prosecutors drop those cases. And so it makes it so that it's less risky for criminals to go and commit crime. And guess what? They commit more crime.
All right. This is my belief. The reason they lower the standards is because they want to hire more minorities, and not enough minorities were passing the test that they originally had. Now, they may tell you that's the case or not the case, but that leads to the whole DEI. That's why I believe DEI played such a role. Now, you had another statistic. This is graphics, too, for I want the guys to put up. DEI hiring practices correlate with increasing crime rates. A 1% increase in DEI hires equals a 4% increase in property crime and a 5% increase in violent crime. So just increasing the DEI hires 1% had that dramatic effect on crime like that?
Well, unfortunately, those were the numbers that are there. And, you know, you have, as I say, you have two different things. One is you also have not just the intelligence test, but you also have physical strength changes that are there. And what you're talking about is very explicit. They do these changes precisely to make sure that more minorities will get hired. And everybody can want more minorities to be hired, but the question is, you want to have a certain standard. There's a reason why the rules were there, and also for the strength test. The strength test changes are basically done to get more women to be able to go and qualify. But it's not just with police departments. The Biden administration was pushing changes in hiring rules and promotion rules for fire departments. Last year, you had a situation where one of the top people in the Los Angeles Fire Department, when they were having all these fires in Palisades and other places, was asked the question about what would she do if she went into a house and the spouse of a woman there was there and she couldn't carry him out. And her response was, well, it's basically his fault for being in the wrong place at the wrong time and having to deal with the fire. There's a reason why we have certain strength requirements. And for police departments, when you get rid of them, you see a lot of changes in how police departments are organized. You see a movement away from single officer patrol units to 2-officer patrol units. That means you can't cover as much area. You see the elimination of foot patrols or bicycle patrols and moving to car patrols. There's a reason why they wanted to have some people that would walk around and get to meet the people more that were in the area. You also see.
I want to get to one more statistic, John, before because I think this was an important one. And couple things I want to make clear to everybody. I'm not against minorities in these departments. You need them in impoverished areas. You have black officers going into predominantly black neighborhoods. That's a good thing. Some of these Asian neighborhoods, Vietnamese officers. There's like no trust of law enforcement among the Vietnamese community. You need Vietnamese officers. So I get that, but you can't sacrifice standards. And this was interesting because you talk about strength. We know there's a debate about men versus women. I'm here to tell you, overall, men are stronger than women. I know there are anomalies, but overall, this is according to the Crime Prevention Research Center, assaults on police increase with more female officers. A 1% increase of female police officers correlates with a 15 to 20% increase in police assaults. John, that's stunning because we don't want to see our cops getting assaulted. I'll give you the last word.
Right. Well, I mean, criminals, when they're making a decision whether or not to assault a police officer who's trying to arrest them, their calculation is, can I get away with it? Am I going to be successful in assaulting the police officer? And the problem is that what you actually find is more accidental shootings when you lower the strength standards for women. That a strong police officer, if he's having to come into physical contact with the criminal, knows that if things get bad, he has his strength to be able to fall back on. But if you're a relatively weaker officer that's there and you're facing an attack, you're more likely to have to use your gun quickly just because you can't risk what might happen if you actually have to physically deal with the criminal there.
Yeah. It's one of my biggest mantras out there for all police officers, not just women. You have got to be in shape. It is life or death. This is not a desk job sitting behind in a cubicle someplace. You got people, very strong people, that will kill you. You have to be in shape. Men, that goes for you too, because there's a lot of not in shape cops out there from both sexes, and that's got to change because it will get people killed. Dr. John Lott, I appreciate the work you always do. It's always fascinating. Keep us informed with the next study.
Well, thank you very much, Grant.
Absolutely, always good to see you. All right, folks, you need to learn about energized health and intercellular hydration. Hey, if you're one of those overweight officers, listen, call Energized Health. Supercharge your energy, boost your immune system, and dramatically increase your brain function. Look and feel years younger, all through a simple and natural process. Don't believe me? Go to EnergizedHealth.com. Check out hundreds of amazing testimonials. Energized Health offers a 100% money-back guarantee. They're A+ rated and have helped thousands over 20 years. Go to EnergizedHealth.com. While you're there, check out their free masterclass. That's EnergizedHealth.com. I told you with them, I lost 15 pounds in 2 weeks on that program. When you call them, go to the website, EnergizedHealth.com, and you tell them Grant Stinchfield sent you. All right, Arizona's governor vetoed a bill that would ban the CCP from owning land in her state. What is the governor of Arizona thinking? It's next.